feels like a test that I fail, so depressed when I can't seem to get out. But something deep inside won't let me quit. I swear that I'm inspired by all this shit. Tell me that I can't and I won't, that's what guides me the most. Fuck your lies, I'll do what I want. Inspired by thirst, I'm inspired by worth. I desire your worst, so you can just hide while I work. I ain't tired, you first. I'll write a second, third verse about the lies you go disperse. You never did shit, I know it hurts. Something deep inside won't let me quit. I swear that I'm inspired by all this shit. Tell me that I can't and I won't, that's what guides me the most. Fuck your lies, I'll do what I want.
You have the downloadable folders, the material that you can download for this task, and when you have done it, you open this folder. It's a zip folder, and then you, after one or two clicks, will arrive to this what you see on the screen now, and there you have three different versions of budget that you will look at. And if you're new to it, maybe the best one is to start with number 1 and see that, and then go to number 2 and lastly number 3 if needed. So number 1 is a very simple budget format. It's not complete as it should be in a big project report or anything, but it also orientates you a little, how little about plus and minus and other things. The second folder is a small example, which more complete, but of course it isn't a realistic one in the sense that there is only a few lines of events that is planned for here, and not a very big thing, every detail, every text, every item, every cost you may have and so on. That's not here, but it gives you an idea how you can build up a budget for in a small way. And we will explain that in this film. And the third and last is the big budget, a full-fledged for a big project with everything in it, so you can understand how it works. And this lecture, this film, introduction on how to do it, is just to give you a hint how it is, and then you have to work yourself. Or if you need, you can also take some help of someone who's an expert in it. When you open the folder for the very simple budget, you have 4 different formats. You can select between which one you want. You have one open document first there. You have one PDF, which is not workable for yourself, but gives a picture of it. Then you have the Excel, which is a 365 Excel version. And then you have the XML format as well. So you can select any of them to use. You don't need all of them, but only one. And if you have Excel, that's the optimal. So here we have the very simple budget format example. It is not a complete thing for all things you need in a proper budget, but it shows you how you can do it here. Here you have an example where you have the mentioned 3 products, but you can name them. You can have more there, and here we have put a service. And here you calculate average per month first, and then you give per month figures here. You don't write anything here because it comes automatically in this version I have. So let's say instead of 1,000, I change that to 5,000. And if you look at the side there, you can see it becomes 60,000 per year. So this goes automatic. And then there is other income. There is then interest income and rent if you're renting out, and other types of such income as a company, and other income if there's something else. You just give these figures, and then you get a total income. And what furthermore happens is you then move to the expenditures, where you will go on and buying products for selling. That means that if you're buying this product, they are not for your use in the company, but for selling them to someone else. This is an example of that. And then you put how much you will do every month, and then treatment and packings for them will also be there. And here you have the example of the running the business, where you will have the cost for rent of an office, let's say, a phone and IT, office equipment, you have travel, etc., you have insurance, you have financial cost and unexpected and other costs. And then you get this amounts per month and amounts expenditure per total. And from this you then see the profit margin before tax, and this one is the earnings per month minus the cost per month, and this automatically comes per year then. And then we have put here that this example, there's a tax of 25% on your profit if this is like a proprietorship or a sole company or something, depends a little how you do, and then you pay the tax, and then you can see what's profit after tax in the end. When you come to the folder for the small example, which is a simplified version of a budget, then here you also have 4 different formats for that calculations. You have the open document version calculation, you have the Microsoft Excel 365, you have the XML 2003 version, you have the PDF and you select which one is best for you, but Excel is the optimal, of course, because that's what you can use if you want to have same functions as there originally. And you also see an info text document there, and that's always useful to read when you have a folder like that. Then it starts on the second spreadsheet. Then here we have the profit and loss. Now the whole example here is only for 6 months. Normally when you do a budget, you do it for minimum 3 years when you start something, or if it's a project, you do it for the project period. And here you can see we have put it very simple, everything, simplified everything. We have earnings, and we have then the costs, which we are divided on buying and other costs, and earnings or sales only. So we simplified it. Normally you will have more lines for this, more columns in this. Anyway, here is the first half year here from January to June, what we have used for example. And you see they start by having a cost for buying in January, and 3,000 in other costs in January, and then it goes on here with different figures, earnings here at some place and there. And this example is about a company buying relatively big machines and then selling them to others, roughly doubling the price to cover other costs and give a profit margin. These figures, they come from a last sheet to calculations. We look at that in the end. So if I click one of them, I can see up here that it goes to so-and-so spreadsheet and so-and-so place on the spreadsheet. Now we go then to balance for this half year in the simplified example. Here we have the assets and debts. And assets is then, you can see the different one. Here is cash, bank, and machines. Now the cash here from start was 0, because we start the bookkeeping of the budget for it when we have nothing, but when we are starting, so everything is 0 in the beginning. That's why you see 3 zeros here. If we were starting in the middle of an activity, there would be some cash already there. Then you can see the last day, the 30th of June. Then we have got so much cash and so much in the bank, which gives us summary there. And the debts, there was nothing when we started here. The same thing, loan, owners paid in amount, and the VAT, which is the value-added tax, or GST as it's called in India. So this is here on the debts, and debts for VAT may be also instead an asset if we have paid more than we have got in. But here is the example, normal as from this, and then we can see on the 30th of June what we have. We have a loan of 20,000. We have owners have paid in 40,000, and the VAT that we have to pay to the tax authorities is 26,010, and there also machines are serial embossed type, and here is the note of that because they are all sold on the 30th of June. And the balance comes here, that we have assets minus debts are 16,430. And we was talking about cash flow is very important for understanding that we have money in hand, otherwise it can be a problem. So here we see how much we have in cash, how much we have in bank, and we see the balance. And the months column in the balance is what happened during that month. So January, what happened there, February, what happened there, March, what happened there, and so on. And total, that is the accumulated balance from including the earlier months. Now January we started, so it will be the same amount here as you see. So here we started, we have a debt debit, we have these 40,000, as long as I put in, and we have also paid out 33,000. That's why it's 33,000 there, and the balance is 7,000. This is what happened there in January, and then in February nothing happened, and in March we started to sell the first machine, and then we started to sell more machines and so on. So in May you can see the 11,000 negative. We have paid out 11,000, but we didn't have any income. That's why it's a minus, but the balance here is still positive, and that's good because we don't want it to be red. If this figure had been red, if we had less than 11,000 to begin with, then it means that we have a cash problem that we need to solve. So that's what we can see from the cash flow. All right, let's look at the VAT. Here we have the VAT, and the VAT will tell us about the same months, and in the beginning there was no VAT because the money we was paying in January for the machine was sent abroad, and there is no VAT on that. It was outside the VAT area we are in, so we didn't have anything of that. But in March things starts to happen. We was getting in 4,000 VAT for the machine we was sold, and we paid 1,190 for stuff we was buying within the within our own jurisdiction. And then we have a balance, and we have a total balance. Here's the same thing as the previous one, that is accumulated in total, and the balance is what happened this month. And here we got a figure minus 26,010, which we have to pay to the government because we own their money. And VAT is money that is not our money, it's the government's money. We are only handling for them. And when we get a minus amount, we have to pay to them. And if we get a plus balance, the government has to pay to us. That's how it works. Then we had a loan in this example. And you can see here in April we took 30,000 in loan, which gives us 30,000 in the loan balance. In June we paid back 10,000, and so we are sticking out with 20,000 in the balance. So here we see how that works. But the base for the whole thing is the calculation we're doing here. And this is a big one. I want to show you how if I move here, it's more length. This is also why it doesn't whistle well on the so much on the PDF files and so on. But here on the side also I have put there, because I have put show. This is the Swedish version of Excel, so you may not understand there, but I can hear how I do. And I selected these with the left and top to be locked, so they doesn't move. So because of that I can see all the time what lines I have on the side. And here it goes in period. What happens in January? 1st of January we had a start balance with zero and everything, because we started the company and activities. $30,000, and then in March we get the machines coming, and we have to pay the transport and custom handling, and we also have to pay import duty and VAT columns. Then we sold 2 more machines in the next month, in April. Then we made a second order when we have sold the first machines. This is very simplified. Normally there would be many more lines. Normally this would be, as I said, up to 3 years, and depending. Sometimes if there's a business the same is expected every year, you can go on that, but this is more like this. So you have to understand how this is working. Here you come to this folder for the big full-fledged budget example, and it comes in 2 different formats. because it's neither PDF there nor is the open office there. And the reason is that some pages are so big and there are so many pages in this budget, so many spreadsheets, that it's not possible for the transformation of them from one system to another. So you have to stick to any of these two. And they are big files. And you select which one is best, and as normal, the Excel file, 365 Excel file, is the best one if you can do it, because it was created in that format. But XML will also show you how it works. So here we now have the big example, and it has many spreadsheets, 26 in all, and this is to give you a full-fledged example of a budget, and this is just information on the first page and how you move around, and then you can start with the profit and loss summary.